This week on the 77% Street Debate.
Most of us, our parents sell their property to let us travel.
Right.
Because of what our senior brothers who entered into Europe first came and sell it back home.
Well, most of our brothers and sisters, what they do here is to go and take a picture in front of a Ferrari, and that's really disinformation.
It's not really worth it, to come to this place to risk your life.
We are slaved everywhere. We are discriminated. We are stigmatized.
The life in Europe is life in the hell.
The 77% is in Italy. This country is home to many young people who left Africa. They crossed the scorching Sahara. They braved the unpredictable Mediterranean, all in pursuit of a better life in Europe. Today, we're asking if the life they're living here was worth the risk they took to get here. Alaji, I'm going to start out with you right now. What does it take to make it in Europe, to get here?
Well, I think it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of luck, it takes great bravery to make it through the Sahara Desert, through the Mediterranean, but these are the first steps. It depends also on what one is running from, what one wants to seek in Europe. Many people are leaving Africa because they think they will never make it there due to the extreme poverty they are living,
right,
that blocks their opportunities.
Right. Chris, I'm going to come to you right now. We'll talk a little bit about coming here, what you faced, what you saw, what you experienced.
Yeah, when I came to Italy, I came not just alone. I came with others like Gambians and Senegals. Most of them left Italy, and most of them are now in the various countries in Africa because it wasn't easy for them. It has to do also with luck, most people, they've passed through the Sahara Desert. Also, they went through the Mediterranean, but they were not that lucky. Most people have gone through the sea, and most of them are down there.
They've
drowned. So, actually, let's say it's really, I was really lucky to be alive also, in Italy.
Alaji, I'm going to come back to you because I'm picking up the theme, right? What the reality is different from the dream that we had. And I wondered why that is the case. Why do people arrive here and it's not what they expected?
Well, I think the Europe we see in Africa is portrayed on, by the TV, by the social media, call it Facebook, whatever.
Right.
The images we see there are disillusional. This creates false conception in the youth. We are talking about youth who think that what they see on the movies they watch in their poor conditions are actually true of Europe. It's a disillusion. When they arrive here, they feel that it's not the dreamland. This is the fiasco that has become a generational stuff, and that is much of the time we are not talking about only labor drainage. We are also talking about brain drainage because we are talking about the youth. Mama, Africa is suffering because what are the sources that people are believing? The colonial stories or what their brothers, what we are speaking now, so that people who are speaking as our brothers do not brave through the Sahara Desert or do not take the Mediterranean Sea. That's a cemetery we are calling. This is the worst post-modern genocide that is killing Africa, and I call this a generational destruction. We are not only talking about those people who lost their life here. I've seen a lot of dry bones, dry people, dry skulls, more in the Sahara Desert that I cannot see here. And anyone who are brave through never thought he is going to make it. It was just on luck. Why do people have to be constrained to make this thing? Well, most of our brothers and sisters, what they do here is to go and take a picture in front of a Ferrari, and that's really disinformation, misinformation.
It's not true. It's
and
not
this
the reality.
is why this type of whatever you call it, irregular migration, whatever, those prejudices, I don't accept it. But this is what lead to migration begetting itself.
Right. And I want to come to you, Ishmael, because you tell us what life is like. Tell us where you sleep, what you eat. Do you drive a Ferrari? Because that's what people think that you have now that you're here.
The main perspective in the life in Europe is the same as the life they call it in the hell.
In hell?
Say, the life in Europe is life in the hell, because in example in Europe, everything based on documents.
Documents, right.
And if you are not having documents, what are you going to do? Italian have a word called black job, which is lavoro nero.
Right.
That is what we are going to do. And we are going to work.
That? What is a black
Lavoro
job?
nero means work without contract. You
Okay.
go to farm
To
to
the
go
farms.
and plug maybe oliver from 8, sometimes 7:30 up to 5 o'clock in the
In this
evening
heat.
time,
In
in
this
this heat, and they are going
It's
to
hot.
give you 25 euro,
How much is that?
25 euro without food.
You can't survive on that.
You cannot survive on that in Italy here, because if you are paying house rent, you are paying boiler bill, you are paying condominium, you are paying water bill, life stuffs, plus what you are going to eat,
yeah.
increase of your shelter.
I'll leave it there because I want to come back to you, Chris. Ishmael talked about black jobs. He talked about how difficult it is in Europe when you don't have papers. What has been your experience?
Actually, Ishmael he said very important stuff there, because it boils to the document. In Italy, number one thing that's really important is the document. At first, it's not really easy, For I know, like when I came, it was
Right.
not easy, because you have to go through the process, and even the process it takes time, And upon this, you get pressures from different aspects of your life. Like most of us, like immigrants, we have pressures from home, When we come there, like when we come to Italy, people call, like our parents call, family call, like, can you send me this? Can you do this? Can you do that? Not they forgot about, like, you have this like pressure that you are in a new place,
Ishmael, so you've made it very clear that you're not living the dream in Europe. Help me understand why that is the case.
Most of us, our parents sell their property to let us travel,
Right.
because of what our senior brothers who entered into
Okay.
Europe first came and sell it back home.
Okay.
That if you want to get a better life at the age of 18 to 35, the best place for you to enter is Europe, and which is not true.
Elijah, you're doing research for your PhD. You've done research about some of the conditions that Africans have to work in the farms. Tell us about what's going on in that perspective.
My thesis is entitled Contemporary Slavery, the Exploitation of Migrants in the Agricultural Fields of Italy, and I have crisscrossed the whole of Italy, maybe better than many researchers in this area, and I
Right.
know the condition that the youth,
You've
the
seen.
healthiest are living. They are living in so-called agricultural ghettos that are worse than any condition in the village. But then it depends on the
Right.
perceptions that they have there, the pressures that
Okay.
are on them, and the issue of not saying the truth to your
Right.
parents, or your parents not believing
Yeah.
it, or the community there. So, and in Italy, throughout Italy, everyone coordinate their operations differently.
Right.
And this is
Okay.
also because of the single asylum system that the European Union has established with the
Right.
doubling regulation.
I will come back to you because I want to talk more about your research, but I want to bring in Alicia at this point. Alicia, you are a lawyer and you specialize in migration. Italy has new laws that make it more difficult for people who come through the Mediterranean to be able to stay here legally. Talk to us about that.
This law has changed totally how you introduce your procedure of international protection, because when you asked for international protection for October 2018, you were able to ask for 3 kinds of protections. The first 2 kinds of protection were the European ones, so the refugee status and the subsidiary protection. But the third kind was an Italian protection that was very important, because this kind of protection, the humanitarian, was giving to many
Right.
people that were not persecuted in their country, and they were not coming from some countries where there is the war or civil war, or where there is a serious risk for his own life, to get a protection, because
Right.
in his own country their fundamental human rights were not guaranteed and protected in the same way in which they can be protected in Italy. Right now it's going to be more difficult, because if they're not running away from a persecution or from a dangerous country without the humanitarian protection, it's not easy to get a protection for the
Alicia,
other people.
You've been listening to the guys on the panel here. You are an Italian. What does it make you feel to hear what they go through? I mean, you see it firsthand as well. As an Italian, how do you feel hearing that?
I feel guilty, actually, because I don't think that we have the instrument, we have the tools to guarantee the rights, even if right now we are not doing it in the better way, but in the best way. But actually, I really think that the judges and the system we can do something to improve it.
Okay, I want to come back to you. Do you see a future for yourself in Italy here?
No, I don't have future in Italy. I have future back in the mother continent. That is the future of the world, not only me, future of the whole world. Because we don't understand the word transformation.
Right. So you're going to go back to Africa?
I'm supposed to go back.
Okay. Chris, you have a bit of a different story in the sense that you've become a bit of a musical sensation here. You sing in Italian. You now have an Italian wife and children. You are maybe a very good example of integration. Do you see a future here in Italy?
I'm really lucky to be like having what I'm having now. I'll say I give thanks and praise to God for what I have. But the future really lies in the hands of the Africans. Like I always say, for you to change the Africa depends on Africa.
You know the journey that you took to get here. Crossing the water, the desert, everything, living in the camps. Look at your life today, right? Do you reckon it was all worth it for what you have today?
What I have to say, what I went through, it's not really worth it, to come to this place, to risk your life for the first place. It's not really worth it if you look about it. But I would say it depends on what you're running from.
Okay, so you say it's not worth it. Ishmael, I'm going to come back to you because for somebody in Africa who's thinking about doing what you did, coming here, what would you say to them?
What I'll tell to my brothers back at the mother continent is that the amount of money you are going to spend from West Africa to get to Europe, if you are a very intelligent person, perhaps to say, you can use that kind of money to start from the scratch. And I bet you, at the end of 6 months, you will see yourself in the highest position. We made a great mistake. I complete senior high school. I wrote West Africa exams at the age of 15 to 16 years. I did not even wait to take my results. When my results came, I got a good marks, which I can continue my education to do what I was supposed to do. But because of the portraying of the media and our stupid brothers who came here first, who did not come and tell us truth, be taking money on social media, taking pictures. But mistake we made at the beginning.
You believe them is the mistake.
We made a mistake.
Right.
So
was it worth it for you coming here? Everything you went through, for the life you're living here today, was it worth it?
No, the life I'm living in today here is not the kind of life I need.
Alaji, I'm going to come back to you now. You opened up by telling us that you needed to have strength of mind, that it takes a lot to be able to make it here. We're closing this discussion now. What are your final thoughts? You have studied the experiences Africans are having in this country particularly. Close us up for now.
Personally, I want to speak to our politicians, and I call them sellouts, because they are not looking at the interests, the needs, the vulnerability that constrain people to migrate. Because to the Gambia or to Senegal, to African political leaders, it is convenient, even if we die in the streets, even if we die in the sea, as much as we can send remittances, it is convenient for them that we, the youths who are potential revolutionaries, leave the country and let them to dictate. So I am telling Africans who are there that I am guilty for being here. If you come here, you are running from your work. work. You are running from changing Africa, and the generations that will become failures as well. I contributed to it, and you are also contributing to it. So if I am speaking, and if you can hear me today, I am saying I should get back, and then we should work on what is happening, because the future is in Africa. But the real question is the future in Africa for Africans? Are we talking about Chinese colonialists, or we are talking about multinationals who have stole us the traditional livelihoods that in fact we hate ourselves? Africa is still a colonial economy. So it depends on what people are running from. We cannot talk about the solution without talking about the causes of the problems.
Right.
It will be false that we will talk about, okay, people will stay there. Which we all live in one system, capitalism, that create illusions in everyone. I want to live in a house. It doesn't matter whether I live in the village or not. Who am I not to hope that I need the best for myself? We are slaved everywhere. We are discriminated. We are stigmatized. And I am not saying this is particularly Italy, but what are the other European countries who are helping Italy with the load of the migration since 2015? Why is Africa enslaved? We aren't poor. We will never be poor. The future is still there. The question is, who is this future for? Is it for Africans when we all run from the things that we should try to make up there?
So you've heard it from them, and now we want to hear it from you. This is the story of shattered dreams. They left Africa in pursuit of a better life, and they're telling us today they've not found it. Instead, they're saying that the life that they've long been dreaming for is back in Africa, on the motherland. Let's engage on social media. This is the 77% in Italy.